girls.
Welcome back to another episode of
Exchange 3.
Transit Love.
Transit. Pete Buttigieg. Welcome back to High Speed Rail Love, a show where Adam
HSR.
just talks about his love for high speed rail.
All right, guys, we have a couple projects in the works. We have the project that's going from Las Vegas to Los Angeles, coming to the United States.
Really?
Yeah, allegedly. Who knows fucking when. And then Brightline opened this past year, but it doesn't really even count as high speed rail. I think its maximum speed is 115.
Dull rail. Dull line.
It has a lot of at-grade crossing, which is not ideal.
Absolutely.
Do you know what that means?
No.
You have to stop a lot of traffic. There's more chances for accidents because you have more roads crossing.
There's got to be an urban planner beret out there, right?
Oh, at least 3.
Anyway.
So
We're back with more straights.
we're back with the straights. The straights still aren't okay.
And they gave us a double whammy. They gave us 2 episodes. And
They
so
did.
she threw us for a loop. We watched
did.
3 solid hours of this show.
3.5.
So that way you don't have to. But we still suggest you do.
You probably skip episode 2.
Honestly, it feels like episode 2, they just made way for the X letters
Right.
because they did the packages. And they revealed a couple in the first episode
Right.
that they lost that. That they were like, well, let's put it in 2.
Yeah.
But the girlies told us that we're doing 16 episodes, 20 episodes?
16.
16
Allegedly.
only. Allegedly. Well, let's get to it, girl. We got 3 hours worth of coverage to cover.
Really, let's focus on the
Broad
big
strokes.
items at hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
In
Episode
episode
2, we have the letters. They read their letters.
The X introductions.
X introductions.
So this is famously the X will write an intro hypothetically, I would be like, please take care of Adam. He doesn't know how to feed himself. He will have clothes laying on the floor, but he does it out of love because someday he's going to pick those up. And life with Adam is life of...
Choose your words very carefully. Frivolity.
Sure. A word that starts with F, for sure.
So we're going to talk about the X introductions, and we're going to talk about the first texts that were sent.
Yes.
On the first night.
Yes.
And then we're going to talk about a donut trip. We're going to talk about the dates.
The dates are chosen.
And then the
X's
talking to each other in the chat room.
dates.
Little AIM.
And then our second couple.
And then we'll talk about voicemails. And then we will talk about the second
Yeah, they
couple.
really jam-packed 3 episodes worth in episode 3.
Yes.
It's pretty crazy.
They do, before they do the X introductions, they go around the dinner table and they try to all share
Their ideal types.
Yeah. Was there anyone that you remember that you were surprised by?
Yes. Kwang Tae was like, I like a woman who takes charge. I like a woman who may seem cold and distant and really strong and powerful. And everyone's like, oh, so you like to kind of be told what to do? And his excuse was like, because I like to try and match with that energy.
Yeah.
It's very interesting because he's very provider type this entire time.
Yeah. He hasn't. Oh, well, I guess that could make sense. Because I was originally going to say, he just has... He has felt very, genuine and warm. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that he kind of wants to, or he has maybe a bit of a dominant streak. And I don't mean that in any way other than...
I do. Yoo Jung was, someone that can, match my sense of humor with. And Juwon was, they were just bantering, like Abbott and Costello. They were just 1 line, 2 lines.
Yes,
and everyone was like...
There's a curious...
Are you guys...
Yeah. They seem like they're...
Do you know each other?
Yeah.
The chemistry was just right away.
Daihye said she has no... Okay, this is important. Daihye had no answer for this question because she said she was unsure of who her type
what
was.
her type is,
because she's only been with one person.
Yes, she's like, that's kind of why I'm here, to see what my type is.
What is my type?
Yeah. I don't think she said because she's only been with one person.
Yeah.
But I think
that might have been a talking head.
Yeah.
Not in the group. But in the group, she was just like, I don't really know what my type is.
That's why I'm here.
And some people were like, is she saying that because she doesn't want to, like, is it
sway her
or no, is it too obvious that we'd figured out who her ex was at the table?
Yeah. Or it feels like it's just adding more that, like, she's not fully ready to date.
Right. I also thought it was funny that Hyeon's ideal type was, like, absolutely the opposite of Hyeon.
Yeah.
Ex introductions. They get the letters. They all read them aloud.
Like
to each other.
Like a cornerstone of exchange.
It's so good.
Yes.
And I think genuinely, earnestly, I think my favorite part of it is, I think the reason I really like this show is because it is not a show in which, I should say not everybody. There's obviously exceptions, but it feels like the people who have broken up under circumstances that are outside of their control.
Yeah.
Or like they just weren't at the right, it wasn't right place, right time.
Yep.
So because of that, and because it doesn't seem there's a lot of animus towards each other, they are really able to like be graceful toward each other. And I also think that's more of a like Korean culture thing versus like an American culture thing. Even like
where it's like closure, get him out, you're done.
Right.
Kind of cut him off.
Yeah. And I think there's a goodwill that they have for each other, and so far as to like in these letters be like, I hope the person who ends up with them is able to take care of them,
of you
blah,
better
blah, blah.
than I did.
Right.
That's kind of always the general.
Yeah. It's a little
handoff.
self-flagellation. Like there's a little bit of like,
yes.
I wasn't good enough for this person. And it's like, it's a little bit because they know it's going to be read publicly.
Yes.
So they want to come off like a good guy. There's a both. It's both, right?
Yes.
It is both like, I do care about this person. I have cared about this person. I don't want that. You wouldn't be on the show if you wished your ex dropped dead. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you can't be like, okay, now we're going to spend 3 weeks together if they like did something so heinous to you.
Yeah. What's interesting though is sometimes they like Hyeon's introduction to Hyeon, she plays with this. She like starts at like, you're never going to be as bright as Hyeon, or like you're going to be like, it starts with that introduction and at the end it's like, you're never going to be as pretty, or like I was never as pretty as Hyeon.
Yeah.
And so she's kind of like teasing, and like,
yes,
the way he had to read it was really funny because it made him sound obviously like she is like putting me in such a high pedestal that it's actually embarrassing.
Yeah.
And she was like, that's kind of what I wanted.
That was
to
the
happen.
goal. Yeah.
It's
and knowing
fun.
their story.
It's very playful.
Yeah, that one specifically.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
Not all of them are playful. Some of them are like, please make sure that he eats regularly 2 times a day. Make sure you water his hair. Like, it's like very specific instructions.
Yes. Well, one was like, I don't remember who it was, but wasn't somebody like they don't eat cheese or something? Oh, it was Dongjin.
Dongjin was like,
oh God, I didn't think about that.
Dongjin was like, his
the
favorite
clams,
the grilled clam.
bitch.
Dongjin's letter was like, his favorite food is pizza, but he hates cheese, and when he drinks, he thinks that he can eat bread and it'll soak up the alcohol. Like, it's just so.
We'll start with Dongjin's.
Yeah, let's start with Dongjin's.
So Dongjin's is an example of how kind of oxymoronic he is. Like, he is like a person who is very fit,
yes,
but also like loves to eat pizza and burgers and stuff like that. And the whole cheese thing, there are a few examples of being like, he's not like how he appears at face value.
Which
I think makes a lot of sense.
Which makes a lot of sense later when you find out all the, let's say, sacrifices that he's had to make in his life.
Self-imposed. And that letter ended by saying, I have no regrets about having been with this person.
Mm-hmm. Wasn't there one that was like, and I am this person's, and I am his type, like perfectly? Do you remember who that was?
No, it's Juwon.
It was Ju-won's ex. Okay.
It was Ju-won's ex said, I am probably his ideal type.
Yeah. Girl.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
So it'll be like, bitch. That's what makes me think that it might be Yoo-jung, but I think it's too easy for it to be.
I would be very surprised if all four of these couples are the four
there.
couples.
Yeah. And it's new.
My guess
yes,
was Kwangtae's ex-girlfriend is not there.
And
that's
Seokhyung.
why he's felt very comfortable.
Yes. And Seokhyung. Because
Did
you
I say
said
Seokhyung or did I say Yoo-jung?
You said Seokhyung initially because no one's giving Pikachu costumes.
Right. And then Kwangtae's is that he is an unabashed optimist. He will always Sorry, it's just very what?
Hello? Like me, an ENFJ, good cook, handsome.
It's the ones where they're like building, basically like wingmanning them. That's
Absolutely.
very like, how do you, I don't even know. I don't think I'm a good enough person to do it. First, I could never do the show.
You would be a fucking mess.
I would be like the person who is on the show currently who should not be doing the show.
Huh? Oh.
Girl.
I know, but I don't want this person to leave.
I don't want them to leave.
See this play out.
I want to see it play out because I really hope it works out well for them. But my God, what a bad life decision.
Oh my
God. Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay.
The girls.
The girls.
Seokhyung is very sweet and she worries a lot about others. And I think the ex was like, I kind of took it for granted how much she worried about me.
Mm-hmm.
Yoo-jung, her ex didn't ever share his problems with her. And so it was kind of like, this is why I was the problem.
Like she couldn't help because she never knew.
Right. Because he never told her what was going on. Hyeon is Hyeon wrote about Hyeon that she's very sweet and kind-hearted, which I think that's checked out so far.
It's checked out so far.
And Daehae's is that she's very sweet and she's very emotional, which I think we've known so far, even just from the first episode.
Yeah. She was it was kind of the running joke that she was already a wreck just by listening to other people.
Daehae and Dongjin had the longest letters. So those are the letters. They seem to go fine. Nothing was as dramatic as Wonbin's last year when he like couldn't get through it. I think almost all the guys were fine reading their letters.
Well, what's tough last year with Wonbin was that I don't think he realized how much she cared. Do you know what I mean? Like it was so earnestly loving that it threw him for a loop.
Yes, and also they hadn't seen. I think they were the ones who had
the longest never seen each other. Yeah.
If you're watching this,
사랑해.
사랑해요. Now we get to every night on Exchange. They are texted by the production team that they have to send a text to whoever has made their heart flutter that day, and it can mean anything you want it to mean. So
Gratitudes.
Sure. Is it just like, oh, you made dinner and I really liked it, thank you?
Yeah.
Is it we had a great date? Obviously none of them went on a date today, but stuff like that.
Or a genuine pass.
Or is it you're my ex and I still have feelings for you. So, here's the lineup. Okay, here are the people who get no texts. Daehae, Juwon, and Hyeon. No texts.
That kind of checks out, I think.
I was surprised that Daehae did not
didn't.
Get a
I'm not because of how emotional she was.
Sure.
I don't think the boys were like, I'm going to steer clear from that energy.
So these are the people who got one text. Yoo-jung got a text. Dongjin got a text. And Hyeon got a text. And Hyeon got a text
from Hyeon.
From Hyeon. Because it tells you
your ex texted you.
Your ex texted you or your ex did not choose you.
Yeah.
And then Seokhyung got two texts. It was weird this episode though because they didn't really show any of these texts.
I think they're gonna try and bring it up later, obviously, but
yeah,
it's confusing because they're about to do it again in the next episode.
Yes.
So are they gonna double up showing how many? The story might be like more of a pattern that someone has gotten a text from the same person.
the only texts they fully showed were Kwang Tae's texts because he got 3 texts
Because Mama cooked.
because he cooked and he's just been the most, I think, open and friendly
yes.
so far.
He got like 2 compliments on the food and 1, you're cute.
Which was from Hyewan.
Which was from Haewon.
Shoot your shot, girl.
Shoot your shot, girl.
I would too. Okay, we've been talking about how emotional Dahye is, but it's Seokhyung who has to go into the bathroom and cry for a bit. So it's not just... It's everybody.
It's everybody.
At some point, everybody's going to get emotional
Yes,
and whatever,
absolutely.
freak out about the show.
But the letter specifically kind of took Seokyoung to that place.
yeah.
Some of the guys too, but not obviously to that emotional place. But like Juwon looked very
Juwon was reading his letter again later.
Yeah. But it's funny. Seokyoung is like, well, I'm last in line basically. Can I just shower downstairs in the men's bathroom? It's this whole ordeal because the guys are like, I don't think you want to shower in there, girl. Our shit is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not cute.
Right.
And she's
It's
like,
a
no.
men's bathroom.
It's a men's bathroom. She's like, oh, no, I don't care. I don't care. She goes in. The door doesn't lock.
Yeah.
So she's like, can you guys make sure that no one goes in this bathroom? It's very...
It's not even like, oh, I won't use the bathroom then. It's just like, just make sure
no one goes in. And the boys are like, wow, she's just...
She's a little tomboyish.
Yeah. Which is funny because it doesn't
read that way.
It doesn't read that way, but I think it's not that she's aloof, but there's like she doesn't really care.
She's like straightforward. She's like to the point.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
It was very interesting.
She
'cause
might be a sleeper.
It was not the vibe that I got from her at the start of the show.
I've liked all the girls so far. I didn't know Seokyoung and Yoojung were personalities that I didn't get obviously in the first episode because it was so focused on Haewon's reveal and Dahye just stands out because she's crying.
Right.
But I'm getting now like Yoojung is very much like very cool girl. She's very funny.
I'm shocked they cast the show this way.
Mm-hmm.
Is that there are a lot of introverts on this show.
I know.
And I think it's going to be very hard to pull them out to be good characters for television.
But I think it's gonna show a little bit more like awkwardness.
Maybe.
And push the boundaries of like, I have to talk to my ex right now.
But I think the show is
the house.
more concerned about casting exes that have interesting
Stories as opposed to personalities.
as opposed to fit the tropes of reality TV show contestants.
Yeah.
Because so far the 2 couples we've learned about have very interesting stories.
That's true.
Okay, so they all go to work the next day. Dongjin's first out. He has to leave at 5:30. He works 6 a.m.
We see his back.
We see his back.
The musculature. Woo!
Everybody goes to work. There's a point at which Hyeon and Haewon are like together in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And Hyeon is like, I'm just going to go because it's awkward. It's weird.
They were like the last 2 in the house.
Yes, it's weird. Dongjin's the first one to come back, obviously, because he was the first one to go to work. So he comes back. Yoojung comes back. And so he goes up to her and is like, do you want to go out and get donuts with me?
I want to buy sweets for everyone. Because he was like, do you like donuts? She was like, not really. I don't really like sweets. And he's like, oh, okay,
He said, I don't either.
Yeah.
But I want to go to this donut place.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
It's very sweet.
Literally. So they go out to get these donuts. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's like an informal, not real date.
Not even like a real... I mean, like, they don't even ask that much about each other.
This is the game of the show that I think is like the most smart. The people who try to like just do things outside of the official, like these are the dates.
Yeah, it's like going to grocery shopping.
Yes.
It's that.
Yeah.
Dahye comes home to an empty home, and she does start crying.
She
even
cries.
before no one's home. She's just kind of like sitting. I think just like realizing like I'm really fucking in this.
Also, it's hard to be in that. It would be very hard to be alone
In an empty house. I mean, Haeyeon Haein was
Oh,
alone like
girl.
for the first 2 nights.
Yes.
Because everyone was like, we have work and we're date and we have date.
Yeah.
Cause she like
She came in a night, and the one night, and then they all went to work the next day, and then
she stayed at home all day alone.
yeah.
So Dahae is home alone and she hears Yoo Jung come. You can see the camera shows her like
Dongjin.
trying to listen.
Oh, Yoo Jung,
who's
yeah.
coming home? She hears Yoo Jung, and then hears Dongjin, and she runs to the secret room.
Yes, she runs out to the balcony, yeah, and then
And
into
it's
the
like
secret room.
trying to like not freak out, like try to show that she doesn't cry. She's
You know
really
the
trying
thing
to
you do where
compose
you're
herself.
trying to be like, oh, I'm fine, but like
That's
you
not
look
good,
the
actually.
most insane you've ever
Yes.
looked. It was
Your
very
eyes
bad.
are so puffy because as soon as she leaves, she goes to Yoo Jung to see her. She's like, "Oh, have you been crying?"
Literally,
She's like, "Oh, your eyes are glistening. Have you been crying?" And she's like, "No. What did you guys do? We just went to go get donuts." Oh, and then I think they said where, or like just kind of like referred to where.
yeah.
And Dahae,
No, then she was like, there's extras if you want to go get one. She's like, oh, there are extras. Walks out of the room, walks back into the secret room, and starts crying again.
bawling,
That's the end of episode 2.
and she's like saying no to herself over and
Yes.
over again. Credits. So I was like,
She's like saying no and being like, can I do
Yeah.
this? Can I do this?
and
You
so,
gotta, sister, you gotta.
Yeah.
For me.
yeah, for the show.
For us.
For us. And she literally, so we left episode 2 being like, okay, then it's gotta be Dongjin, or she just really can't grasp the situation that she's in exchange.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed pointed to Dongjin, but it could just have been, we don't know.
Because I think at this point I was very much like, I think it's Juwon. It might be Juwon. I was getting a vibe that like maybe he's not I don't know. It just gave me a vibe.
Yeah. So everybody comes home. We talk about the fucking Perilla leaf thing. I'm not talking about, I do not care about, I don't think it's interesting. They get another package in the mail. Not package, letter.
Letter.
And they have their first dates to set up. So they get these 4 postcards basically. And it's 4 pictures of, there's a picture of the beach. There's a picture of
Like stairs at a trail.
stairs on a trail. There's a picture of a brick wall. And there's a picture of
It's like it's like a sign
And it says
in a
hip.
storefront, and it just says hip. So everyone was like,
is
someone's
it a hip hop club?
Yeah, someone's like cherished memory of their relationship is at a club.
Yeah. And so these are the 4 guys
Picked
these places as
important.
important dates they went on with their exes, and so now they're going to go on new dates to these places.
Yeah.
Daihei immediately says she knows the
What
one
hers is.
that her ex picked.
Yeah. Immediately knows.
So then the girls are going to go around and they're going to
Because they're all zoom ins of like a couple picture
yes,
that the boys provided.
correct. So they're going to so they go around, the girls
girls
get to pick the photo, and then the QR code on the back shows them who their date is going to be. Daihei
Picks
hip
And it's Juwon.
and it's Juwon. That should shock no one.
That shocks no one. That makes sense.
That
He's
makes
a
sense.
musician.
And we'll find out later it's a vinyl club. It's
Yeah.
a vinyl store. Record
Vinyl store.
bar.
Yeah, like what Sand and Ray went to.
Yeah, absolutely. Then Seokyoung chooses next. She chooses the brick wall. And that is Kwangtae. Haewon chooses the sea, and that's Dongjin. And Yoojung gets the staircase, and that's Huiyeon.
It's Rian. And she's so funny because she's like, I don't want to go hike. Like, do I need to bring the right shoes? Are we going
Yeah.
hiking? And that's like her whole thing. Like, is this a hiking
And
date?
you flash to Huiyeon explaining that his date
was by their university.
by their university, and it's like a trail with all the cherry blossom trees, and they went during cherry blossom season. It's very pretty.
And that picture was when he basically hard launched her. It was like my first Instagram
It was the
post of her.
Haewon hard launch.
Yeah.
Dongjin explains that this date that he went on with his ex.
By the
went
beach,
to the
water.
beach.
Was when he was the
It
last
was the
day
last
before
day before he
enlistment.
went to his military conscription.
So it holds a lot of complicated feelings.
So he's definitely old enough that he's done his military
He's already done
service.
it, yeah. And then Kwang Tae's was at a library.
Yes, Kwang Tae's was the library. So the girls get a text that they're going to all be able to speak to one another.
Speak to the ex of the dates of
So yes, the date gets to talk to the... Yeah. It doesn't matter. Hye-won goes first, and she doesn't know... Again, she doesn't know who she's talking to. She's talking to Dongjin's ex. And she's able to ask questions. Dongjin's ex says the memories are faint because it was so long ago. And that it's hard. It was hard. It was a heartbreaking date. Mm-hmm. And then she says that she still has, or
it's hard to say if she has feelings.
Hye-won assumes that she still has feelings the way
Yes.
she's responding. And she says, is there anything you don't want me to do with Dongjin? And his ex says, don't eat grilled clams with him because he doesn't like them. Now, Hye-won was like, I'm not really
into Dongjin, or like I don't really know him yet, so I'm going to be very careful in this.
Yeah. She likes Kwang Tae.
Yeah.
I'm sure she'll be very nice on the date and not whatever, and she could be surprised.
Yes.
But she's not going and being like,
But
I really have a crush on
But I
Dongjin.
do think she's like, his ex still loves him very much. And I need him.
Yes.
This is...
Tread lightly.
Mm-hmm. So this is interesting. Hye-won, because we know this couple is already revealed, we get to see Hye-won as the ex being chatted by Yoo-jung, who's going on a date with Hui-hyun.
And Yoo-jung was not excited to go on this date.
Yeah. Hui-hyun was like, I'm excited about Yoo-jung. She was the one that I probably would ask. She seems the most fun. And Yoo-jung's was like, he's the last person I would pick. He didn't really talk to me.
But also, I think he just said that because she's pretty.
Yeah.
Because he likes pretty girls. It's
Which
so
is what,
funny to be like, his type is someone who's pretty. And it's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That seems like, that's not a type.
But that's what Hye-won says. It's like, he likes anything that's pretty.
Yes. So Hye-won as the ex in this situation doesn't feel like pressure to be like, she doesn't feel nervous that it's going to go super well. Mm-hmm. So she's like, I'm just answering questions.
Yes.
It's fine.
She's because Yoo-jung is basically like, am I going on a fucking hike?
Here's the thing about the Hye-won Hwee-yeon situation is that even if you go in, right, and you're like, I'm done, I don't want to be with him, yeah. I'm cutting the ribbon, right? There's still a level, even in the best of circumstances, even in the like, we're totally mutual. Like the last couple from Exchange 2 last year. Yes. The last couple that comes in, who are fully just like, we are only friends now. Only friends. We're only friends.
Yeah, because she was almost like, I'll be your wingman, basically.
Yes. She's great. It's so good.
All she did, because she knew that her and Tae were probably going to pick each other, she basically was just winging to Haeyeon. Like, he's a great guy. Yeah. I only had, ugh.
So even in that circumstance, there is still a level, I don't know, that you want to do better than your ex.
Yeah.
On this, like, technically a competition show. Mm-hmm. So I do think it's interesting that there is a little bit of that with Hye-won, and I think it's only going to get exacerbated as the show progresses. Totally. Keep an eye. Let's keep an eye
on these two, because Yoo-jung was like, do you think there's a chance that you will get back to your ex? And Hye-won types yes,
and then erases it. Come on, you can't write it. You could write that.
That's the thing. You could write it, but they didn't.
And somebody would be like, I don't know, it's a bit on the nose. And nobody would do this in real life. Well, guess what?
Hye-won did.
Yeah, that was pretty wild.
She she rewrote like it's possible or something like that.
Yes.
Not as sure.
Not like, as
confirmed. There is a real chance.
But she does tell Yoo-jung, like, don't worry, you're just gonna go on like a little scenic walk. Yeah. It's not a hike or anything. Yeah. So she leaves to go back to the house. And on her way back up the street, she gets a text that she's got a little voicemail. Now, the exchange people are watching his man. I'm going to say it. It's very obvious.
Yes, because the his man was voicemails.
His man is very iconically
And calling.
voicemails. Calling and voicemails.
Yeah.
That is the way that they do it. It's great. We love it.
So this one, it's like the the girls are going back up, and there's a phone booth, and they get a text saying your ex left you a voicemail
At the phone booth.
And basically the guys are saying like
It's about the place
it's
they chose.
explaining why they chose the place.
Yes. Hwee-yeon in this voicemail tells Hye-won, I wanted to see the cherry blossoms with you every year, and now I've lost both you and the cherry blossoms from my life.
That's an actor, bitch.
Now,
he is a fucking actor.
Just remember that. He is an actor.
He is of the stage.
He's of the thespians.
But
He did not cut the ribbon, though.
He did not cut the ribbon.
He
She
didn't
did.
cut the ribbon. She did.
Snipped it.
She snipped that ribbon.
But when she...
I think also he feels like he has something to prove with Hye-won.
Yes. But Hye-won like recoiled when she heard his voice. Like she was like... She like physically reacted to it.
Yes.
He basically... Because she's... And it would get me too. Because he starts with like Nuna Anyang.
Yeah.
Annyeonghaseyo.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh...
Yo, you want me to start calling you Nuna?
Because I just
No,
something about
you're my Unnie.
Unnie.
But they had already kind of connected after dinner the second night when they were cleaning up, and he tried to be like,
Do you know where that picture's from?
do you know where that picture's from?
While
Dongjin walks
is just
into
walking
the
around
dining room.
because they're cleaning the table.
And she's like,
Hye-won is like just like staring at him, like looking, like waiting to see until she can. And when it's clear again, he like asks again, and she's like, "Yes, I know where it is. I know the picture." Mm-hmm. And Dongjin comes back and was like, "You've been wiping that same spot on the table."
so good.
So there's something. I think she is one of the people that will be like, yeah, I came in knowing that this was what I wanted just to move on, but seeing him and like being in his company again is
Right.
making it very hard to kind of
It's one thing to be like, I'm going to cut a ribbon before I spend 3 weeks in the same house with this person.
and it's day 2, girl.
Yes. Daye talks to Juwon's ex, who says he's really sweet, he's kind and sensitive. Mm-hmm. And they do still have some feelings for Juwon. I think this is like, I think everybody has still
Yes.
some residual.
All of these feel like not as
There's been no closure, I think, for a lot of these people.
yeah.
I think it's both me and Dae, let's say that, are convinced that it is Yoojung
Oh, you think it's Yoojung?
because the way she types,
It was very informal.
super informal. Yeah.
Yeah. That it's like, oh, that could be your roommate.
But it
Or
could
it could be
also
someone that's not here yet, so it has no...
has no understanding,
have
or
not
it's
met
fully
anyone.
just like trying to throw you off.
Yeah.
But it is funny because Dae, well, I'm assuming
Maybe the oldest.
Dae may be the oldest on the show. No, oldest girl.
Oldest girl.
Yeah.
Seok-young talks to Kwang-tae's ex,
Yep.
and she is getting crickets,
Oh,
bitch.
girl. How was your day? Fine. What'd you eat for dinner? Chicken. Very that energy.
Yes. What's Kwang-tae like? He's nice.
Hello?
Why did you guys break up? This and that.
It's like texting a man. That's what it's like.
So she's like, okay, I can tell that Kwang-tae's ex, she probably was like, I can tell that she doesn't want the girls to get close to him.
Well, it was also funny because one of the things she asked was like, what's Kwang Tae's type? And
she says the exact opposite that he said.
that
from
he
the
said at dinner.
before, which I think that proves that she may not have been there.
That's ooh. See, that's why I think I'm right.
Yeah.
I don't think Hwang Tae-seok is there. The girls I don't know.
The girls I don't know.
The girls I don't know. But
Because I could see
it would
Seokyoung
be-
and Juwon. I could see both Seokyoung and Yoojung be with Juwon.
I can see both of them. Here's the only thing, though. And this is all happenstance. This is all circumstantial. There's not pattern.
But also, that moment with Seokyoung and Juwon didn't feel...
The first date last year
Mm-hmm.
was Yumin and Nayeon. That was like when they did the photo dates.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones that went on a date together. Because they went to that zoo place.
I think that was the next
Oh, that
date.
was the second date.
The first date was...
The first date was the bar where
they had the blind date.
Yes, the blind date.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't believe I remember this. So the voicemails had to all be edited together because we can't know who's who. Bobbity bobbity blah. Seokyoung and Yoojung have reactions.
But it's like...
Are like, okay,
Yeah.
this is the show.
Yeah, this is the show. They leave. Dahae hangs up... First of all, can't even hang up this receiver. She was like... gripped, trying to keep listening to see if it would play again. She finally does it, and as she's walking up, just breaks down.
Oh, bitch.
Not even like a anguished cry, but like a wail.
It is the tears of someone who is going through grief.
Yeah.
Like mourning.
Like it's like she's mourning the relationship.
Yes.
That it's actually done.
It is an active...
I
she's
think-
actively in mourning.
And I think it's because
I cannot believe she went on this show.
I know. And I think it's because hearing the voicemail
Yeah.
speaking about it fully in past tense. Like that realization,
Yes.
but then also you'll
Hearing-
find out that the voicemail is also about like, I'm about to take another person in there and it's going to be hard for me to have a new experience there, but I'm going to try and I hope you try too.
Dahae's ex. This is the couple reveal.
This is the couple reveal.
There's no couple
I
reveal
don't
that is
think-
going to be more exciting than this.
Truly, I thought I thought Cuban and Haeun was pretty bad last year. This tops. This is. I mean, I understand why they wanted to put this scuffle in the show, and I don't know if they should have.
Dahae's ex is Dongjin.
They have been together.
They have been together. They were together. Their relationship was 13 years long.
13 years long.
Ship some. And bitch, they broke up in June. This show filmed, I believe, in October. Dahae, why are you on this show? I mean, I am absolutely living that you are on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank you for your mental sacrifice in order for me to
my
get
entertainment,
eat my popcorn.
But my God, woman,
This is
is
like a therapist would be like, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
This is a bad idea. There's red flags everywhere, girl. I can't imagine.
I can't imagine.
They started dating in 2010.
I told Adam, imagine as if we started dating from our first freshman year college production together of Time of Your Life by William Saroyan.
Sure.
All the way up to us recording an episode of Boys Love Fantasy Boys. And then ending it right there. Caden made it to P12.
And then I left the relationship.
And then we broke up.
Yeah.
And then now...
Yeah. A few months ago, we filmed
a reality dating show.
We filmed His Man 3.
Yeah, we filmed
Yeah.
it. Shh. NDA.
Sorry. Here's what's crazy, though. This is basically what happened to David.
Jungkook from His Man 2.
From His Man 2.
Beloved.
Because he told the production team, oh, it's been like over a year since I broke up with my partner. My secret boyfriend. And it in reality had been like a couple months.
Yeah. Dahae and Dongjin met as idol trainees in the same agency.
This is great. Tell me the story.
They met as
I want to hear it again.
They met as trainees.
in 2010.
One of the earliest picture that they had looked like from a Motorola Razr.
Yeah, very that.
They go to the water. The picture where they're having this, where Dongjin's having a date.
Yep.
They go to that place because that's also where he asked her out for the first time. Mm-hmm. They are both signed in this agency as trainees. They get found out that they are
found
together.
out that they're dating.
So they are told
Separately
that
one of them
you
has
need to leave the agency.
So who's it going to be?
So who's it going to be?
And they both volunteer
volunteered
themselves to leave. So they both leave the agency.
So that the other person could stay.
Both of their dream is to be an idol. Very important. Very important that both of their dreams are to be idols.
Dahye gets signed in another agency.
To whoever.
And becomes bestie.
She is bestie.
She is Dahye.
She's the mine,
bestie's
right?
Dahye. Yeah. And they remain together in the secret relationship to the point where when they did go out, and as soon as Dahye would get recognized, she would just leave. And like, they were showing the montages of every anniversary. Like, cake after cake after cake. But that entire time, in secret.
What do you mean 1,000 days? That's crazy. 2,000 days. What are we talking about?
He goes to the military.
When
he comes back, he's like, I came back. I'm already like 26. Mm-hmm. I can't even attempt to like be an idol anymore because I'm too old. Mm-hmm. And so I volunteered to just help with my parents' business. Mm-hmm. And it got to the point where he just kind of like fell in the...
And he was like assisting her because it's post bestie now.
This is post bestie. So he was kind of helping her.
And she's still trying to like be an entertainment.
So he was kind of like
her manager,
like helping her in certain parts.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where like he had to spend more time helping with his family's business instead.
Yeah.
And it ultimately like made him feel very like dejected that like he's given up another dream.
He said he realized he needed to live life for himself. Which is actually very similar to what Yumin said when him and Hayan broke up last year.
Yeah. It's these young relationships.
Yeah.
That doesn't evolve with the relationship. Like they don't evolve with the time because you become different people.
Right.
But the relationship also then has to evolve with it.
Yes. And you have to be able to like sit down and have these conversations of being like, I'm starting to feel resentment toward you
because you get to live a life.
You are living the life that I wanted to live.
Yeah.
And I am happy to have. And I think it's, oh God. There is no one who is right or wrong in this situation.
Absolutely.
It is purely like worst case scenario possibilities.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
I mean, thank God you don't want to be an actor anymore, because if...
No. No, that's not for me.
Yeah. So they break up 4 months before taping.
June of 2023.
We just finished Fantasy Boys. And these people broke up.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The first episode of Queendom Puzzle happened and they broke up.
Yeah. Ugh. And honestly, it was the panel was very...
wrecked.
I mean, they are in the entertainment industry. They're like, these are... to some extent, they know how this feels.
Yes.
Right? And like...
Even if they can't say it, a lot of them are secretly dating people. And of course you are. Like, that's
just part of it.
What happens,
of course.
It's like, horrifying that's part of it, but...
Yura was like she was like a wreck. She was like, because
Girl,
she's
Simon is crying.
Yeah.
But Simon always cries.
Simon always cries. It's...
It's so sad.
It's so sad.
It is incredibly...
And they have their Tic Tac lunch, and she can't even like look him in the eye. Like he walks in and she is
crying. He sounds the whole time like he's on the verge of tears.
He is like doing a better job keeping it, but he cannot speak.
It is just so... And then they keep cutting to their like interviews for the show. And it is so clear how much they love each other. Even when you flash back to the ex introductions and those letters about each other. It's the most I've ever felt like I don't want them to... they have to get back together. They have to get back
together, right?
They have to get back together.
This is the only time I've felt
I don't care if it's rigged. For me to be satisfied with this ending.
Yeah. Because, okay, let's fix this right now. What needs to happen for you in order for them to get back together? What do you think?
I think she has to stop crying because he's going to start feeling guilty. And then he's going to resent her for feeling guilty. He already a little bit resents her. And it's not necessarily her fault, right?
Right.
But that's just where they are at in their story. So she has to like get it together. She has to try to appear like she's having a fun time even if she's not. So they have to be able to like have a bit of banter, be light with each other in like a fun, nice way, but not have nothing mean like a lot.
Yeah.
And they also have to go on bad date. Like they have to like not hit it off with anybody else. Yeah. That's the circumstances in order for them to be like, maybe it is better with you. Because they both have to see that it's better with them than it is with other people.
That it's worth it. That it's worth the hardship.
Then maybe I really won't find anybody better than you. Even with all of the story that we have.
Yeah.
And it's a huge ask.
That is.
But I don't care if we have to rig the fucking show. Rig the show because I need to see them together.
I know.
And they just are such a cute couple. Oh, God.
They're very caring of one another. Which I think, unlike like Wonbin and Jisoo, where it was like Jisoo felt suffocated, right? Because Wonbin was just so caring.
Yes.
Here, it does feel like they both, even though one person is on like a different career trajectory than the other, they're both very caring of each other because it felt like they knew the situations. But I think it just built up over time that like it's really just hard. It's very hard. It's just difficult.
And I think it's also very hard. I think this is very common for people in a creative field who are dating people who are not necessarily in creative field, where the person who's not in the creative field is like, I have to be the stable breadwinner, basically, so that you are able to pursue your passions. But if there's any inkling of like, and I'm not getting what I want, but you're getting everything that you want. Even if like, I'm sure Daihei would say she's not getting everything she wants because she's not currently in a group.
Yeah,
blah, 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 blah. But on the outside looking in, it feels like Dongjin is the one who's sacrificing
everything,
his dreams, so that she can attain hers.
Yeah.
And it doesn't, and I'm not even, this is just what's happening. It's just so sad that he at least feels like it's not being reciprocated. And then they both are sitting there at this dinner and being like, I wasn't good enough for you. I'm so sorry.
But it's like not that at all.
It's not that at all.
It's truly just them being weighed down with the reality of life.
Yes.
And is their relationship strong enough that they will take on the challenges?
Right.
That really is it, I feel like.
Right. And in a way, it almost still feels like it's paralleling Huion and Haewon in that it is another guy being like, there's a societal expectation
that
for me to provide.
Better. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
We need to be done with these. We have to let them go.
This is like the second one where it's like the man falls short.
Yes. Even though he wasn't.
He's like doing... But okay, so
it's not that he was falling short. It's that he was like, I'm
just not doing what I
what am I doing?
imagine for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, have you ever felt that way? In his talking head, he said he came onto the show to get closure.
Yeah. So it is to assume that he was the one who wants to do this. And I think this was like,
I disagree. I don't think this show, a TV show, is the way you get closure.
But no, this is what happens.
Jesus.
He's like, I want to do this show. She wants to do this for him because, as already expressed, he has done everything for her in this relationship. I'm just saying, I don't even think that is
their perceived notion of what their relationship was.
Yeah. So I think this is her way of being like, well, then let me give you something. This is my way to give you something and that you can have the closure. But that something to her is like completely ending this huge half of my life almost.
Yes. She's 30, he's 31.
Yeah. It's like she is convinced that it's like, in order for Dongjin to be happy now, I have to prove to him that like I am okay and can completely forget the last 13 years. Which no one can do that. That's impossible for humans to do.
And like, even like, there's no world in which 4 months is like enough time.
No.
After I mean, it would be one thing for like 4 months after like a couple years. 13? I just like cried the whole time.
Know. Because you feel the weight.
There's nothing specific to be like, oh, this is the problem. And here's how you fix it. Yeah. I can distinguish what the problem is, but like the solution is not to be like, so then she should also give up her dreams. But it's also an impossible ask to be like, he's too late. You can't, he's 31. You can't be an idol now. I wish we lived in a world where he could, because he is very handsome. So that would be fine.
Probably a great dancer.
I'm sure he's great.
He's probably talented.
I'm sure he makes music, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But like, he can't chase that dream anymore. He gave up, he feels like he gave up a decade of his life for her. And he'll never get it back.
How does that feel, Adam?
As someone who gave up almost a decade of my life to the Walt Disney Company. Doesn't feel good.
The last thing that they show, the epilogue of the episode, is what they did with the ribbons. And Dongjin cuts the ribbon. And Dahye leaves it alone.
Yep. I can't. I'll be so... Something really iconic would have to happen where they both hit it off with like great people. And then I'll feel fine.
Yeah.
Like someone has to sweep Dahye off her feet.
But right now it feels like we're waiting for new people. I don't think it's anyone in here.
I don't think it's anybody here.
I don't think.
The only person I think who was like charming enough to do it would probably be Kwangtae.
Because I could feel...
But I don't think he's interested in Dahye.
But I could feel that everyone in this house
is like, oh,
they are...
Look at this walking Louis Vuitton bag.
I don't even think that they all have set or feel that they are the couple, but they at least know that these two people are still in love with their ex.
I think Dongjin has gotten away with it more than Dahye because he had to get up so early for work, so I think he can use that more as an excuse of being like, oh, I just have to go to bed early or whatever.
Yeah.
But Dahye, I mean, she also just wears her heart on her sleeve.
I know.
And that's what's charming about her.
Yeah, that's like part of her charm.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Dahye is gonna... I am manifesting...
13 years.
Okay, I am manifesting either they get back together or some young man, just like Han, comes in at the last part of the show.
Imagine being like, we got through COVID together and now we're breaking up.
Yeah. That's the thing. They've made it work through so many different things that have stopped everyone else.
Yes.
But it's the acceptance of like the monotony, I think.
But it also I think it's also these other things that have happened may have been able to be like the shield for what was really wrong. So like you can point at like, well, he's in the
COVID,
military.
well,
so like, oh, it's
they
like a
both
thing,
got
then we'll
found
get
out,
over
blah,
it.
blah,
Da,
blah,
da, da,
blah.
da, we'll get through
There's
COVID.
always an excuse and there was
I'm
a
out of
solution.
like bestie disbanded. Da 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 da. Like all these things that you can be like, this is what's happening right now, and it's just this momentary point of time. When really, this festering wound is only like getting exacerbated by time.
Because that's the thing. They get to 2022, 23.
Nothing's happening.
They're just living their lives.
Right.
She's doing gigs and he's helping his parents. And it's like, this is it.
I'm really curious to know what his job is.
I think it is baker. I think or maybe it's farming. Maybe it's outside because he is so tan.
We'll
That
see.
he has to travel so far.
Well, yeah.
They were like, oh my God, all the way there.
Yeah.
So maybe, it's just the other side of the river. I don't know.
The Han River is very wide.
It's huge.
It's a very wide river.
Maybe it's a fish market. Maybe it's a fishmonger.
Oh.
Because you have to be early because they sell fish at like
yeah, but Seoul's
6
not
in the morning.
on
Yeah, not by the
the
sea.
water. He'd have to go to like a place on the water.
Like so many places.
Too many to name.
Busan is by the water.
He's not going to Busan for work every day, girl. But I do think, I mean, really though, it is like, when we say earlier, she is like having a dramatic reaction, she is still going through grief of the mourning of this relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think it makes a lot of sense, obviously.
Yeah.
And also I think, I mean, I have a whole theory that because of like the advent of like modern medicine where people aren't dropping dead every 5 minutes from like getting a cold, that we are less accustomed to grief and mourning. So it feels like for a lot of people, the first time they deal with grief and mourning is like a relationship.
Something huge. Yes.
Right.
It has to be like something monumental.
Because it's you've lost you have lost someone.
Yeah.
And then they just walk back into that cafe.
To be like, well, now I get to watch you date other people for 3 weeks.
Oh my God.
Watching these dating shows is so stressful, but
Daye,
it's so...
Daye, if you're watching right now, fighting.
Hey, Dabbit was watching.
None
So
of
you
them
never
are
know.
watching this. I feel very comfortable saying that.
If someone out there wants to translate Korean subs so that the cast can watch us,
You're insane.
let me know. Send a little email.
We'll do. Stupid. We'll
do
go
it.
to Melted and we'll go to whoever owns a shop in this show.
Yeah.
One of them owns
One of them
something.
owns something.
I gotta be, right?
It might be.
It could be Juwon. He could be a person who owns a bar or something.
Yeah. It could be Dongjin. His family owns it. It gives me like Singles Inferno, the Corn Cafe.
I think you are so off on what he does. I don't know what he does, but I don't think you're on the right track.
You don't think it's like
I don't think he's a farmer. I don't.
not necessarily a farmer, but what if it's
I know
like
you. I know you loved Love Tractor.
what if
but-
it's like a tree nursery where he has to be outside?
God, I need to know jobs so quick
And they're gonna say it's gonna be the cliffhanger. It's gonna be a cliffhanger next episode.
because it's gonna be the dates.
Yeah.
Are they gonna split up the dates into two dates and two
last
dates?
time the jobs came at the middle of the date because Yumin and
yes.
Nayeon got the text in the middle of their date
Yes,
that
that's
they
right.
could
They could share.
share their age.
Yeah. Because then that's when she was like, oh, you're younger than me. She was like shocked. Could be in the middle of the date. I care less about age than I care about job.
I care about jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it's interesting to see what people do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw that. I just know that Hyewon is carrying a lot of shit when she's going in and out. But I think
Girl, she took a suitcase.
No, that's Dahae.
Oh, that was Dahae.
Hyewon looked like she was carrying like 5
She's
books
a
and a
teacher.
laptop.
She's a
So that's what
teacher.
I think. I think she's a teacher.
Because Jisoo was a elementary school teacher. She was an English teacher, remember?
It wasn't elementary. It was like English class.
It was English like to like kids though.
Oh, it was to kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.